Believe it or not, I'm a top. I used to be a bottom, but now I'm a top, and this is why. Number one, because it hurts. It hurts. Kind of like me trying to work out. I tried to deal with it. I tried for years to deal with it. And at first, it really didn't bother me that much. And now that I'm thinking about it, it might be because I was like drunk most of my 20s. And so, you know, nothing really hurts when you're drunk. It's kind of like when you do pop and you can handle it. And I didn't get introduced into pop until way later, so that didn't really help me. If I would have had those in the beginning, maybe I'd be a different person right now, but here we are. So the way that I realized that I did not like it anymore was when I was with my ex. We were together for about 6 years, and he was a top. My type is actually tops, unfortunately, and he was also a Scorpio, aka a sex addict, and he wanted it all the time, and eventually I just couldn't anymore. And it got to the point that we didn't have sex for about 2 years. And that ultimately led to us breaking up. Clearly, he was somebody that needed it all the time, and I wasn't giving it to him, so he was going elsewhere and getting it. And voila, we're over. But that's kind of when I started to realize it. Like, I remember the first time that we did it, it hurt so bad, but that was also like one of my first times actually doing it ever. So of course it was gonna hurt. But then over the years, sometimes it'd be fine, sometimes it wouldn't. And I just like never knew whether it was gonna be fine. And then when it wasn't, it was miserable. And so I eventually just kind of stopped. I just completely would always be, oh, I'm too tired. Oh, whatever, my stomach hurts. I would like purposely eat a lot just so I could use that excuse like, oh, I ate too much today, I can't do it. If you know, you know. And so even after him, I tried with like my next boyfriends to also be a bottom. And it worked out for a little bit again. One of them introduced pop, so it kind of made things a little easier, but it just didn't feel right anymore. And so after the boyfriend after him, I decided, you know what, I'm done with this. Like, I am switching. I'm gonna try being a top and see how that goes. And so that brings me to number 2. I hated the prep. Oh my gosh. This is probably the thing. I can handle pain, but the prep was absolutely horrible to me. I couldn't eat all day. I had to worry about smelling the whole time. I had to worry about shaving. Side note, I literally like never shave now, and it's the best ever. I never have an itchy ass ever anymore. Anyway, but the prep, that was a huge deciding factor into why I changed my mind against bottoming. Like, I just could not handle it. Like, it was so miserable every single time. And I just didn't ever feel like I was doing it right because I hated it so much. I like would hate doing it. And so I would do it as quick as possible. And there were a few times where that did not work out so well for me. I remember one time this guy was eating my ass, and as he was doing it, he was like, by the way, you need to learn how to clean and shave better. Oh, gut punch, literally. That was, maybe that's why I'm like this. Maybe that one comment, no, I'm just kidding. There was a few other times where things happened and I took them so personally, and that added to the list of reasons why I don't bottom anymore. There was another time where this guy who I was like absolutely head over heels in love with, he was like my jock frat boy fantasy, and he never liked me. He would just come it every single week. Until he told me he wanted to get back with his girlfriend, and then now years later is like the gayest dude ever. I'm like, okay, whatever, bro. But there was one time, the last time that we hooked up actually, because of this exact reason. I had him come over. I would have him do things for me around the house, so, and then as payment, I would give him my butt. But I remember this one time he came over to like hang up a picture, and we had sex after, and like I said, I don't like preparing that much. So I hadn't prepared that well. I probably should have, but I got used to him. I figured, you know, if there had to be a time where I didn't prep that well and he was fine with it. He kept coming back, so whatever. But I guess I had been doing a good job all those times, because this time was not one of those times. And he was like, oh my gosh, you're bleeding. I look down, there is shit everywhere.
And I'm done.
That is not blood, sir. I don't know if you were trying to like make me feel good or something, which I've said before, like I'll never shame a bottom. If shit gets on me, I don't say anything. I just don't say anything. Like that, things happen. I get it. It's happened to me. So I'll never shame anybody. But this was, oh my God. And it smelled, I can like still smell it. Like, my God. And I was absolutely mortified. I just pretended like, yeah, it's blood. Ah. And later on, he even texted me to see if I was okay. And I'm like, is bro just like dumb? Because he was like semi-straight at the time and maybe hadn't dealt with that before. But like, what was the deal here? Or was he just really, truly trying to make me feel better? But then after that, I realized that he wasn't trying to make me feel better because he broke things off with me after that. Rightfully so. I shit on him. I get it. I get it. But that's why I no longer bottom. And prep is a big reason why. Douching sucks. Not eating sucks. And then, like I said in the first one, the pain sucks. So that brings me to number 3, the stereotypes. The stereotypes of being a bottom. That was a huge reason why I switched. I didn't like it. I like to think of myself as a semi-masculine gay man. So every time I would get grouped in with bottoms, it was almost like, oh, you're just a femme or you're a twink. And that's just not me. And it never felt like me. I never felt like I vibed with the stereotype of being a bottom. And so that really threw me off a little bit. And as I mentioned before, my type is like a very, very masculine top, which sucks because I'm now also a top. But at the time, I wasn't. And so it worked out. And I almost felt like I had to be this like feminine, twinky kind of vibe to get the kind of guys that I wanted, because most of those types of guys, and I'm not saying all of them, but most of those types of guys want a more femme acting bottom. And so I would always feel out of place when I would try to be masked. And so I would always be putting on this like mask of being a more feminine bottom. And I just didn't like it. And it never felt like true to who I was. And so ever since I've dropped the bottom tag, name tag, I guess you could call it, I've felt more free. I feel like I can be myself more. I don't feel like I have to like be feminine to fit in with the gays or get who I want. And I've actually found that there are some guys that are my type that are bottoms. And so I want to hear from you. Are you a top? Are you a bottom? Are you verse? Are you whatever you want to be that day? And I also want to know, like, have you ever felt like you needed to switch your position for any of the reasons like I said, or your own reasons? I want to hear them. So let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.